Go get it! What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Tucker and the Beard. This and every episode is brought to you by
Our respective real estate businesses. We are both top producing agents in the Prescott area, serving both buyers and sellers.
Yeah, so if you have any questions about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, or if you would like to become a sponsor for the show, you can call Tucker at
928-710-4690 or the Beard at
928-910-5954. Thank you guys so much for watching, man. We
Yes,
really
thank you.
appreciate it, and we rely on your support. So you can obviously find us on Facebook. But you can also find us on YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, and iTunes for the audio-only version of our podcast. And it would really mean the world to us if you would take a minute to rate and review us on iTunes and head over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that little bell for notifications. We love Facebook, but they're not always the best delivery method for our content. You're not going to see everything that we put out. But YouTube does a really good job of that. So,
yeah. So give us a like and everything like that. But enough business. Let's get to the show.
let's go. Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
To another fun-filled episode of Tucker and the Beard, and we have some very special guests in the studio again today.
That's me.
You're correct that you are one of the very special guests that we have in studio today.
Yeah, they just popped up from underneath the table.
They appear as if from nowhere.
Yes.
No, we brought the kids in today. We've got Judah and Colin, and in case you didn't, we came straight from the movie theater to the studio.
Yeah, I was going to say about 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes ago, we were sitting in the movie theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
because it's Spider-Man Day. It is at the time that we're recording this. It won't be Spider-Man Day tomorrow when people are
watching this,
listening and watching this.
It takes a little bit of work.
But it's Spider-Man Day today.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what a day it was.
I know. There's a lot to
unpack here.
It's one of those movies that you leave the movie theater, and my brain's in a storm, so to speak, of just things I was trying to do some kind of the different elements.
Yeah.
Storm.
Just very, very many things rattling around.
And I don't...
That may or may not be...
And there's so many spoilers.
Yeah, this one's going to be really hard.
I'm watching...
I'm going to just... First of all, let me jump out ahead and say there will be endgame spoilers in this, because if you haven't seen that already, that's your fault.
And don't go see this movie.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Endgame yet, it just got re-released over the weekend, so go check it out. Check it out now, but don't watch this if you don't know what happened in Endgame.
Would you say that's fair?
And don't watch the movie either.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna ruin it.
And at least the Spider-Man movies, not to include, Civil War but Endgame is a must, because if you're walking into this and not seeing Endgame, nothing will make sense.
What are you doing?
What is your life anyway?
Yes.
Like, what's the point to go to the movie theater if it doesn't even make any sense?
That's right.
Exactly.
What's the point if it doesn't make any sense? Words of wisdom from the youngest of us.
There you go. I feel very left out. We didn't wear Spider-Man shirts today.
What are you guys doing?
What are we doing with our lives?
Did you guys?
I'm digging the cartoon Jay and Silent Bob though.
I want to see how many people think that it's like a Tucker and the Beard.
Well, I mean, because it could be
Calvin and Hobbes style shirt
coming Halloween 2019, maybe.
It's coming,
possibly, probably.
But
no, Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yeah, released July 2nd, which is
we went to the first available showing in the Prescott area.
All right.
And I was surprised at the vacancy of the theater.
Yeah, although, I mean, I had to stop this one from getting into a fight from people that stole our seats. Like I had to hold him back.
You know, you mentioned your
What?
your seat numbers to me, and as you were walking, because we weren't able to get seats next to each other because, well, when I roll into the theater, I roll 6 deep, and the the rows are only like 7 people.
True.
So, at the theater that we went to, at least.
Yeah.
But you're like, yeah, we're in these seats, and I was looking up at your row, and I'm like, this could be interesting.
Right. Well, it's one of those.
I'm not gonna lie. I had my phone in my hand,
like it was
ready to
about
launch
go
the video camera just in case.
It almost got there. Luckily, I had someone with some wisdom of, hey, let's not like get into it with people
Hey.
for no reason.
Maybe we
You
just
just
sit.
said that you had to hold me back from fighting people, and
It was a
now
joke.
I'm words of wisdom.
I don't know.
Your story's all over the place.
Broken story.
Broken stories.
I want the truth.
He is accentuating the holes in the plot of
Yes.
your story.
I know.
But I did notice. I was like, those seats are currently occupied.
They were. So it was one of those things that, yes, luckily. But my brain kind of shut down for a little bit when somebody's like in your seat. I'm like, do I say something? And then he points out, like, all these seats aren't taken.
Yeah.
So
No problems.
good
Plus,
just-
we had 3 seats reserved.
Pull that in a little. Move
Yeah.
that microphone a little bit closer to you so we can hear you a little bit better, bud.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Hey, there you are.
Colin's here.
Oh, so have I just not been heard this
A
whole
little
time?
bit. It's
Just
just better.
a little
worse.
quiet. This will sound a little bit better for
Okay,
us.
I'll just say everything I said before. Hi.
So
Rewind.
But no, it was
It was a
wow.
it was a really
That's all
good.
I have to say right
Yeah.
now is just wow.
And without spoiling
Really
anything,
good.
I would be like, there's walking into it, you think you know things, which is very Mysterio-esque.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I haven't followed the Mysterio storyline super close in the past. So, in a lot of ways, this was new for me
okay,
in general. I mean, did I know that Mysterio existed?
Right.
Yeah, but wasn't, he's not my favorite.
Say it.
He's not my favorite rogue in the gallery as far as
Right.
Spider-Man, so I just never really paid that close of attention to any of his storylines.
Right. Well, and knowing that he's one of the Sinister Six in Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery, but the renditions I've known of him are ones that Kevin Smith has written. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones I'm most familiar with, which are Daredevil runs.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting character, and I really like what they did with that character.
Yeah, I'm surprised by the lack of fishbowl head jokes.
There was of them.
There was
saying
there
any?
was a suspicious lack of them pointing out how much like a fishbowl his head
Yeah.
looked like. And I'll be honest, even with the little bit that I'm familiar with Mysterio and all of his storylines, he seems like one of the villains that would have been harder to recreate on the screen. And I thought they did a really excellent job with that.
Yeah, they did an amazing job.
Yeah, because in the comics he's a movie special effects
Yeah.
guy and uses that to wreak havoc and everything like that. But I like what the twist that they put on
Yeah,
it.
it was
without-
cool.
and which called back to the very first
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Oh,
movie.
yeah. I mean, not just.
I know it's hard.
Man.
It's hard, but it recalls
There's
a lot of the
so
other
much.
Marvel movies.
It touches on everything that Spider-Man has been in his cinematic existence since Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, it did. It went back a ways.
I mean,
So-
there were nods to Maguire's era. There was a couple of
There's a little hat tip to that.
nods.
Right.
Yeah, there was some. They weren't obvious, but they were little hat tips to the Maguire era. There was a couple of little hat tips to the Garfield era.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like, oh, I've kind of seen that scene before, but they incorporated it differently into
Right,
this
and
movie.
the special effects were insane. There was a couple.
I mean, the credits went on for a good
like 10 minutes.
At least.
Just
Yeah.
with the visual
just
effects.
visual effects.
20 at the most.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
was a long credit.
It was like there was a lot of companies like involved. It's like Paramount, this company. I don't
Right.
know.
Well,
Exactly.
and several different locations as well. You know, they filmed in the U.S., they filmed in Spain, they filmed in I think it was like 4 or 5 different locations were mentioned.
Oh, and in the actual places that they were, because
Yeah.
they were in London and
Yeah, they were in London, they were in Venice, they were in Prague.
Prague. That's what I was thinking of.
But just first of all, for me, still emotional a little bit.
Oh, they went right out the gate.
They were just poking at that wound
Yeah.
consistently through this movie.
What
Yeah.
wound?
The wound where Tony Stark is dead.
Yeah.
That's what
That's
I
the
said.
Endgame spoiler.
Endgame spoiler. If you haven't seen, well, and the other characters that
Yeah, I mean, but
this isn't a post Endgame
yeah,
world where and it's
this
really
is actually the end of Phase 3
right.
of the MCU.
It's
And
just
I hate to break it to everybody who doesn't know already, but we don't have another MCU film for almost a year.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
It's late May of 2020.
Yeah, that they've started working on some things, but I've been nervous of how they're gonna continue on.
Well,
And
I think it's
they
silly
actually
to-
made it funny.
Very funny. Like, this was very much Iron Man 1-esque in the level of humor that was there.
Because it's like this dark thing after Endgame of, oh, people have, 50% of the population
Died, and then they came back
in
through
the exact moment.
in the exact moment that they were dusted in the first place.
the marching band scene was
Yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Showing, classmates of,
Yeah, all these people getting dusted and then just kind of being in a state of almost suspended animation.
right. And then there was,
when they got undusted.
right. Well, and then there was the
Unsnapped?
other students that grew up.
Well, yeah, because the
5
world
years.
still moved on for 5 years after the snap, after
Right.
Thanos's
Yeah, what was his name?
Snap.
Like Chad.
Yeah, something like
Chad.
Like they made him just.
Chad.
I don't know.
It was
they made him more. Of
Clinton, like something weird like that.
Yeah. But then he got older, so they were like 21 years
Yeah,
old.
and based on their birth certificates, these kids are 16. They look 16, but they're actually 21 years old,
Right.
Yeah. Which they made a joke about.
and they're still
Yeah.
in high school,
Right. And
Yeah.
and had to start their junior years of high school over.
which they were really upset about. But yeah, it's really funny. I like the way that they kind of picked up. But yeah, the beginning of the movie is just kind of poking at that wound of
Well, and
post Endgame of
and there's
all
little
the Avengers
things
go
throughout
on.
too. You know, there was one scene, and this is in the trailer, so I don't feel too bad about it. But there's several scenes where, as they're in different cities around the world, there's like these tributes to Iron Man. You know, there was one where I think when they were in Prague, where it's just a painting on the wall, but there was the prayer candles and everything. You know, kind of just these homages to the dude who saved everybody.
right. It was very. How would you say? It was very heavy-handed, very Iron Man-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since like what was it, like Age of Ultron? It was cool seeing like all these Iron Man like pictures on the wall, and
Right.
then now it's like all memorials.
Right, and what the world is going to do without Iron Man
And who's going
The
to
other-
be the quote unquote next Iron Man? Because now we know that this intergalactic threat exists and that it could come back at any time. And
Yeah.
what are we going to do about that?
yeah, and when these things pop up and where we're going to go. Right?
Right.
Yeah. But I just gotta say, they built up Chad to be more of a villain. Like Chad was the real villain.
Well,
of the
and when you're in
movie.
high school and stuff like that, there.
Chad is just the worst.
Well, we all know that Dalen is the actual worst, but Chad's a close second.
Yeah.
Dalen is the worst.
Stupid Chad.
Stupid Chad. There's always that guy, you know.
Right, in high school and stuff. And well, it was the funny part because he was one of the ones, not usually spoiling anything, but he was one of the ones that didn't get. They had a word for it. What was it? Wasn't
It
dusted.
was like flibbed.
Well, they called
blip.
the 5-year gap the blip.
Yeah, they got blipped.
Yeah.
So for the people who got undusted, that 5-year gap was a blip. And there's, they kind of dived into that more than they did in Endgame. You know, there were people who, they were in their apartments when they got dusted.
Right.
And then again, because they show back up exactly where they were, well, new people live in those apartments now and in those homes and are occupying those spaces.
Yeah.
And then you just show up and, hey,
Oh, and there's.
what are you doing in my house?
I have to give
The
credit.
teachers.
I was gonna say that.
Oh my
I
God,
know.
the
I was like, without giving anything away, that I laughed.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
the
was,
teachers were probably some of the best comic
but
relief
his
throughout the whole
blip-
film.
What happened with him during the blip is. I was
Yes.
laughing for
Yeah, that was
quite some
was
time.
probably like one of the best jokes in the movie.
Yeah, the movie was continuing, and I was still laughing about that joke.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was really good. And they used the teacher more, which is Martin Starr.
Well, and JB Smoove.
And JB Smooth came for this one, and it was
so funny. I mean, the duo that they had there was just killer.
really good. I don't know. You just went on a school trip, but it was definitely not.
Oh no,
Their
it's the
school
exact
trip.
It
same.
was the exact same thing that happened.
Yeah, a lot of chaos everywhere you go.
I have a question about like that blip. When they came back, did they like remember anything?
No, it was like they went to sleep and then they woke up.
And it had been 5 years.
Yeah. They didn't know that anything had happened other than, some of them were a bit aware of the fact that they were being dusted as they were being dusted.
Right.
Even Spider-Man in that first instance,
He had no idea what was going on.
That whole line, where he's like, "I'm not feeling too good, Mr. Stark."
I know.
Yeah.
But it's how I feel like when I wake up from when I take a nap. Like I'm like, what year is it?
Yeah, what's going on?
I have no idea what's going on.
No, one time, like, genuinely, like, the way that I think it feels is one time my wife and we had to make a very fast trip up to Las Vegas. We were going to be moving there for a short period of time, and so we did this insane, like, less than 24-hour turnaround to Las Vegas. We got into town at about 4 a.m. and kind of looked, we had some breakfast, and then we were kind of looking at neighborhoods to live in. And on the way home, I was like, I can't drive anymore. I got to sleep. And so I pull over to the side of the road, and I'm sleeping. And then my wife taps me on the shoulder. I don't know how long I'd been out, like saying, "Hey, we should probably get going again." But as she tapped me on the shoulder and I woke up, I'm on the right-hand side of the road, and there's a kind of a curve in the road.
Oh.
And so the optical illusion of a giant semi-truck
It was coming straight at
looked
you.
like it was coming straight at me, and I can only imagine that that's how these people felt when
just coming out. Wait a minute.
What just happened?
Why is someone in our house?
Yeah.
What happened? I know something happened, but yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah, I'm interested in how like kind of Marvel Studios is gonna deal with that, because all of a sudden they're introducing new characters who grew up 5 years to the age of the old characters that got blipped, and then like it's all of a sudden, it seemed like
it was awfully convenient to the storyline that all of Peter's friends got dusted as well.
we don't talk about that. I don't know. To be honest, Flash looked like he aged 5 years.
I couldn't tell if he had gotten blipped or
Did he get
not.
blipped, or did he just get held back 5 consecutive years
Right.
in
Yeah.
high school
Well,
because
he had
he's
a
not too bright?
Yeah, he had a little mustache thing going on, and so I was like, I don't know if he got blipped or not. But they did some really
Listen,
funny
we all
things
had
addressing it.
we all had the friend in high school who tried to grow the mustache a little too soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Just didn't work out for him. He knows.
He knows.
He knows.
Exactly. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that they did that really, really well in addressing that. It's like, hey, some stuff happened.
Yeah,
How's
and-
the world going to go on now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was good they did like what, an 8-month time gap between the snap and what happened, because
And they're in school now. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they like it's they've gotten more used to it.
Right.
Yeah, which wait, what was I gonna? Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a cool way of kind of really jumping into the fact that, I mean, Peter's a high school kid that,
Yeah, like
likes
we
this
need to
girl.
remember that
and
Peter Parker is still just a 16-year-old kid.
yeah, and so he's got other
He's got other
stresses
stuff
in
on his
life,
mind.
which is one of the great things about Spider-Man, Peter Parker, that it's him in high school, him,
Yeah.
you know, he's got girlfriend troubles or relationship troubles, trying to hide his identity, and yeah, bringing Jon Favreau nailed it in this one, by the way.
Again, just shades of
Uh-oh.
look at that, just everything shutting down on us today.
What are you doing?
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
That's all right.
It is what it is.
I'm good with it.
I'm not gonna fix
It's
it.
Spider-Man Day.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man Day.
No
So-
problems when it's Spider-Man Day.
Yeah. So Judah, what were your overall thoughts on the movie?
No spoilers.
No, without spoiling anything.
It's like that Mysterio guy. He said that like that fire guy killed his parents, but he killed his parents.
Or he made the whole thing up.
Or
Yeah.
that too.
You never really know.
That's one of the cool things about that character, is the way that they did it. Is you don't.
It's
really
almost
know.
like I want to come back in 2 weeks and
give a full.
really do a deep dive into this thing,
Hey.
because
there's so much.
there's so
to-
much that I would love to hash out,
right?
but I don't want to spoil anything.
And you say one thing, that it's like, ah,
And it really starts
dancing around.
unraveling. And even for someone who watches this before they go see the movie, that small little detail could be the thing that gives the rest of the plot line away in their mind, and I don't want to ruin that magic for somebody.
Well, you got an empty spot on 716, so
come back.
expect a
He's
full
not wrong.
review.
it's not wrong.
He's not. Maybe
In a
maybe
couple
that's
weeks.
what we'll do.
Expect a full review for Spider-Man Far From Home on 7/16
Yeah,
at approximately 3:00 a.m.
No, except for the last part. That was
Yeah,
rough.
maybe 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Might work out.
PM.
or maybe a.m.
You
Or
never
maybe.
know.
With the magic of the internet, we can release this anytime we want.
There you go. But no, I think I was really nervous going to see it, because I thought Endgame was like, where do we go?
Right.
Yeah.
And
this was a great way to bookend that, to kind of sew that up
right,
while going, oh, what are they going to do next?
right. When they announced that this movie was the last movie of Phase 3,
Yeah.
I was really like, oh, we get to, like Endgame, and it was going to be this one. It was going to be like, no,
Nope.
It
Not at all.
really did well.
I would.
Of like taking everything that like happened in Endgame, addressing it, and then just kind of moving on with normal, like,
setting it up for.
just normal movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
And just, again, they closed one door pretty definitively,
Right.
but they definitely opened at least 2 more.
Yeah, and I would say, because I know I'm jumping to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yes, there are end credits.
Oh, yeah. All of
2.
them. You stay through all of them.
These I would put as the number one, like, most important.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, the one of the end credit scenes, like, I would expect to be in the movie because it's so like important. And
Yeah.
the other one
Yeah.
is more of your usual end credit scene.
But like setting
But they're
up.
both, and that's what I'm referring to, is the 2 different doors that they opened up.
Oh, it's
Let's just put it this way: we will see a whole lot more of Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
oh yeah, and where they're going with it is
Yeah. I need
Yeah.
another Spider-Man movie.
yeah.
Like,
Now
this year.
they could
There's-
have
there's-
started the whole other.
I don't know if I can even say this. Because
You're not, because you're not in the microphone.
Don't.
That's why I'm away from the microphone.
It's really hard
because it's not that they didn't just it's not only that they did this one really well, but they also righted some wrongs from the past.
Okay.
And maybe we'll talk about this off mic because again, the spoiler thing.
Right. Some good stuff. I know. That's fun.
All right, yeah. Come back on the well, it'll be the 17th. We'll record on the 16th, and we'll dissect this spider. Then.
7/17.
Yeah.
Be there.
Be square.
Don't.
Yeah.
But you should.
Or do.
But it is a must see.
Oh yeah.
Like I
It
was
might
going
even
in there,
be a double.
My bar was like
Might
I was
even be a
excited
double
to
up.
see it. I was excited to see it, but it exceeded my expectations and like
In every way.
So good. It's and funny and
Homecoming was good,
yeah. This was
but this was great.
yeah.
I would venture to say that this was on the same level as Endgame.
Don't say that.
Oh.
He's
Yeah,
it
That was
wrong.
heavy. I don't know if I'd go
I'm,
that far.
I'm
but
going there
They're two
myself.
different categories of MCU movies. Like one
the
is
individual, right?
I mean, yeah, it's not the
super-
boss battle.
Yeah, like, but Far From Home is like a great solo movie. Endgame, like Far From Home is probably the best solo movie. Endgame is probably the best, like,
Collaborative.
yeah.
And this
agree
was
with that.
just, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this was just an additional 2 and a bit hours worth of Endgame footage.
Yeah, that it could have
Because
started.
it was so beautifully seamless, and the MCU has gotten so good at doing that.
right.
as
It could have
time has
started a
gone by.
whole new Spider-Man movie right at the end, and I was
Yeah.
in. I was
Yeah.
like, yes,
I would have sat there for 5 straight hours.
yeah.
If
That's good stuff.
Far From Home
But you need to.
was the end credit scene for Endgame.
If you go see this movie, you need to at least see Endgame.
Yeah.
At least because
And Iron Man 2, Captain America,
yes,
He's
Thor,
going
All
on
of
the
them.
yard.
Iron Man
And like
3,
all the Marvel
Avengers,
movies.
yes.
Avengers
I
of
definitely-
Guardians of the
Ultron.
Galaxy.
yes.
Both chapters.
Yes.
And probably, 2
Thor
or 3
too.
seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
and definitely and Captain Marvel.
Gotta see
'Cause
Captain
otherwise-
Marvel.
Marvel.
See?
Infinity
I know.
War,
Another
of
thing
Ultron.
that they're kind of that they poked at in this one, and I thought it was
Civil
really
War.
funny.
Yeah, still going.
Ragnarok,
Well, he's still
he's
going.
rolling on.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So, boys, what is your what's your recommendation?
Buy out a theater and watch it.
Buy
All
out a
right.
theater. All right.
What I didn't like about Spider-Man Homecoming is like they never mentioned MJ's name.
Okay,
Yeah.
they just call her MJ.
Yeah.
Like they never said it
In the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool little twist that they did. And
Yeah.
now she's
just
officially
didn't make
MJ.
Now
And
she's
says, like-
officially the new MJ. Yeah.
Like is there even an MJ in this movie or like
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Or is it a different one?
like
You never know.
like
Well,
how
because this
do
is
they,
a
like,
different
connect?
Spider-Man universe
Yeah.
from your typical, Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy
I don't know.
universe.
Stacy.
So
Yeah.
Also, Zendaya is a really weird pick for MJ, right?
But it's a different one.
it's,
I wasn't sure.
It's not Mary Jane. She's not Mary Jane
No,
Watson.
she's not married. She's MJ though. She's
She's just got the same initials.
Yep.
So
They call her
and
MJ.
that took a little bit of
When they
like,
first revealed that in the first Spider, it was like,
oh yeah,
okay, but it's a different, and
it's an
I'm okay
entirely
with it.
different MJ.
And I like what there was a little bit more MJ, and I like what they.
Yeah, they definitely built
did
on
with
her
that character.
character.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did build on her character, I wouldn't be surprised if she turned into more like of a Mary Jane Watson, like with her like working like for the news.
I
or
think she could
Right.
be.
But there's so
I
many
also
different
think she could end up
variations.
being, what Pepper Potts is to Tony Stark.
Yeah,
This new MJ could be that to Peter
Yeah.
Parker.
exactly.
So as long as she realizes that, with great power,
It's great responsibility.
true story.
So, would you guys recommend going and seeing it?
Yeah.
I already said you buy out a theater.
So that's a yes.
So that's a yes. Any final words, boys?
Like and subscribe down below.
He knows
Yes.
what's up.
He knows.
Anything from you, bud?
Wait. Yeah.
Okay.
They changed the MJ like a lot because like the new MJ is like a lot more like has like a darker humor than
That's
That
true.
is very true.
than like the original one.
She does have a dark
Yeah.
humor.
She does. She does. She's
she
seen
dropped
some
some
things.
really
She's
funny
been
things.
through some things. And her dad was the vulture. What are you going to do?
No, it wasn't.
No,
Oh,
what?
kind of.
No.
They
Did you
implied.
Not at all.
watch Homecoming?
Did we
That was
not
the other.
wa- Did we watch
No,
the
That's
same
a
movie?
different girl. That was the other girl.
Man,
He's given up.
he's given up
leaving
on
up.
me.
I can't.
He's given up on
I
me.
can't even.
I'm.
Well,
I gotta get out.
shame.
I've slept too many
Well, I
times
can't.
between now and then.
Yeah.
Apparently,
There you
I didn't
go.
rewatch that one,
No.
and he's leaving.
Yeah.
So
There it
I think
is.
you're still in frame if you're
Yeah.
trying to
I know. He's
imply
like,
that
"No,
you've
I'm
left
done."
the room. So,
I
anyway,
was filling for him. Hi, I'm Colin.
excellent impersonation.
That's spot
So,
on.
but yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Go see it.
Go
Yeah.
do it.
It's an awesome movie.
There you go.
He's not wrong either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
cool.
Till next time. He's Tucker.
His beard.
We're out.
I'm Tucker too.